Hey everyone, before today's video begins, I just wanted to let you know that the following content you're about to watch was made over on my Twitch, and if you're interested in seeing some more tier list content before it hits YouTube, then I highly recommend that you follow me over there at twitch.tv/ATPOW. It's a lot of fun. I think a lot of people that came to the most recent stream had a good time, so you should definitely come out so you can watch me do a tier list live and you can interact with me in the chat. So yeah, go over to twitch.tv/ATP_OW now and follow me there. And turn on notifications so you don't miss out when the next stream goes live. Also, since I don't really have a specific stream schedule, make sure you follow me on Twitter at ATP Overwatch so you can get future updates as to when my next stream will begin. I also have it so you can get my just went live notification in my Discord, so make sure you join that as well. Link can be found in the description. Anyway though, that's all I have to say for the intro, so I hope you guys enjoy the video. So, I suppose we'll just do it in order from left to right. And Ameng's up first. Also, I should say this too. Feel free to interact with me while I'm making this. I'll probably be asking for your guys' opinions as well. It's probably not going to influence mine because I have set opinions for most of these players, but maybe one of you guys can sway me or something. We'll see. Everyone needs to participate though. I think that'll make it more entertaining. We'll just have a good old discussion, some healthy debate. So yeah. So Ameng. He was one of the more impactful players on the Chengdu Hunters. And overall, I think that he's borderline A, maybe high B. Depends on who you're talking to. But I'm going to put him high B for now. It'll probably, or maybe I'll put him low A. You know, I'll keep him there for now. We'll make adjustments later. A lot of people are saying A tier, S+++. Higher than lower. He's high B, borderline A. All right, that's where I have him right now. Borderline A. I thought he had a really good, high B or low A. Yeah, that's how I think. He has the best wrecking ball in the league, in my opinion. His Reinhardt was surprisingly good because no one thought it was going to be anything special, and then he just dominated Bumper. And then his Orisa was pretty okay too. He wasn't god tier on anything besides Wrecking Ball, I'd say, but still pretty good on all of the heroes that he played. Deserves his own tier. Chad tier? Yeah, sounds about right. Where's Zephyr? We all know he's best at all tiers. Yeah, he'll be on the off-tank one that we're going to be doing very shortly after this one. So yeah. Moving on to BenBest. I apologize in advance to any Paris fans out there, but I have to put him D tier. He was bad. There's just no other way to explain it. Yeah, Ameng also did never play Monkey, that is true. But, yeah. BenBest wasn't good. It wasn't all his fault because Paris kind of weren't a good team in general. And I think that his supports could have done a better job protecting him. But you can't just blame his team. You have to put some blame on him as well, you know? His death rate is rather high, and it felt like LHCloudy was a little bit better. Maybe not so much in the GOATS meta, but later on in the year, LHCloudy was definitely better. So yeah, BenBest, definitely a D tier. You could say high D tier, I think that's fair. He's not bottom, but definitely D tier. Bumper. S tier, huh? BenBest C? You could maybe make the argument. I think he's D. Bumper. So, his Reinhardt was top 3 in the league. His Winston, I think, was a little underrated. That was a very solid hero he had as well. But his Orisa, I mean, it was kind of average, and I think that's what kind of brought down his stocks towards stage 4. I thought his Wrecking Ball was good as well. He's very solid overall, but his Orisa does kind of drag him down a little. And Tizi kind of just started over him in the playoffs and everything. So I'm going to say for now he's high A. He's just about S tier. Maybe I'll switch him to S later on. But he's definitely A at the worst. He is not plat. Bumper is not plat. What the heck? C tier? Man, we have some Bumper haters in the crowd, huh? Sheesh. You guys are relentless. Bumper was not a bad player. I don't know why people think that he's bad. Yeah, he was a good Monkey Ryan and Ball. Exactly. He was very good. Yeah, Bumper is Pog. I'm glad you're joking around. Seemed to be very anti-Bumper. Okay. For now, Bumper's going to be high A. That's where we're leaving him. So now I have to talk about Fate. And I decided to kind of make my own template. So now instead of having to use like the Valiant Fate, we have the nice Florida one. Hello, EM Burst. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. So for Fate, I think Fate was a poor or like just a average Rhine at best. But I always thought his Winston was pretty good even this season. And his Orisa has always been very strong. And I think that's part of the reason that Florida did so well in Stage 4. Well, I guess I can't say so well. 4-3 isn't great. But it's better than they've like ever done before, really. So, and I think part of that has to do with Fate. Good leader, good Orisa player. Not a fantastic Rhine. He really did struggle in GOATs. Yeah, he was great in 2018, not 2019. I agree with that. But he was still a good player, so I'm going to say he's B. He's diamond, not plat. Like Bumper. Yes, of course. And now we have my boy Fact Fiction, who immediately seemed to have a greater impact than Fate did on the LA Valiant. You'd say C for Fate? That's fair enough. I say he's like mid to low B. So for Fact Fiction now, I think that his Reinhardt was good. I don't really remember him playing much Winston, but his Wrecking Ball was also fairly good. And as for his Orisa, I thought it was kind of average, not so great. So he's like around Fate's level. You know, right above Fate. That's what I think, yeah. Fact is like a solid middle of the pack B tier player. He's not amazing, but definitely a serviceable player who showed to have a great impact for the team when he joined. High B? Yeah, he's high to mid B, probably. Or like low, somewhere in the B range, for sure. Sado gets too much hate. We'll get to him. I'll let you know my opinion on him soon enough. So now for Fissure. Fissure is an interesting case because he didn't play poorly, but I wouldn't say he was as good as he was in Season 1. He wasn't that hard carry on the Soul Dynasty this year, but I think he's definitely, like, he has to be somewhere in the high B or low A range, right? Fissure's not S tier. There's no way he's S tier this year. Probably A. Fissure B. Yeah, what do you guys think? This is one I want to hear your opinions on first. Fissure's low A or high B? Low A, high B, B. Probably B. Yeah, I agree, actually. I'm going to say he's high B. Maybe like slightly above Ameng. Because his rhyme was really good, actually. Yeah, this is just Owl Season 2 wool. So I'm going to say Fissure is high B. Good Reinhardt. But overall, not as good as he was in Season 1. Moving on to fusions now. I think early on in the season, you could feel his impact. His Reinhardt looked like one of the better ones in the league. But after Stage 1, it felt like he kind of started to slip downwards more and more. Like, his stock slowly but surely continued to just head downwards. I thought that his Orisa kind of really brought him down big time. It was just not impressive, if you ask me. Wait, what is this? Is this only about how they are good or how good they were only in Season 2? Season 2. Season 2, Butternaz. Only Season 2. Where was I, though? So just evaluating Fusion's hero pool in general in Season 2. I thought he had a good Rhine towards the beginning of the year. Kind of just, like, became more and more average as the season progressed. His Winston was always alright, too. Kind of a little underrated, if you ask me. He had an alright ball. But again, that Orisa really brings him down, so I'm going to say high C for Fusions. Sado was S tier at feeding? Yikes. Yeah, he's like a high C, borderline low B. Can I get an F in chat for Janus because mandatory military service? I mean, yeah, that's kind of a big rip. but he kind of wanted to just get it out of the way now, you know? I don't think he was forced into doing military service this year, but I think he wanted to get it done. I'm not exactly sure about the details, but that's what I remember at least. So Gamsu now. My boy Gamsu, who I thought actually had a wonderful year in 2019. He switched to a different team. He got outplayed by Fusions and Axiom on Boston, ends up getting traded to Shanghai, and he had a good year. Let's just call it how it is. He was the big-time leader on Shanghai, and it wasn't just in terms of, like, out-of-game and, like, in-game comms and keeping everybody happy and spreading the positivity around. He was genuinely a good player. Very, very good. I have always had high remarks for Gamsu, and I thought he killed it this year. Reinhardt was good. His Orisa was good. Wrecking Ball was fantastic, one of the better ones in the league. Overall, just very solid play from Gamsu, so I'm going to say he's low A. What are you guys saying? High A? Ooh. Yeah. Gamsu's definitely in the A range for me. Why wasn't he up for MVP? Well, he was good, but not that good. We got 49 people in here. Pretty nice. Thank you guys for the support. Anyway, though, it's gesture time. Above Bumper. Nah, I'm not putting him above Bumper. For gesture, though. I mean, I think Bumper got... Or, not Bumper. I think gesture got better as the season progressed. I thought he started off kind of shaky. Especially, like, early goats. Not too great from him. But... like, around Stage 2 and onwards, his Reinhardt looked a lot better. And his Orisa was still very good, even though we only saw him play it in Stage 4. It was still very good. His pulls were still just as good as they ever were before. So Gesture's got to be B tier, definitely. I wouldn't say he did quite enough to be A tier, but he's like a high B, like around the Ameng Fissure level. I think that's pretty fair. These guys are like about even. So yeah, he's like high to mid B, if you ask me. Fissure had to carry that tank line for most of the season. Yeah, I do agree. I very much agree with that, Lowell. Gesture's Orisa is nuts. How can you put him below Ameng? They're like around the same level. they're literally like around the same level. Not necessarily below. Think of them more as like even. I know it may sound crazy, but Gesture wasn't that good, I feel. Like he was solid, but not as good as in like season 1, you know? Didn't have that same type of impact. Guxue, though. You guys look like you're really ready to move on to Guxue. Guxue, when you think about it, he was an MVP, one of the possible MVP selections. He got a good amount of votes. I forget exactly where he ranked. It was like 2nd or 3rd place, something like that. Very good, though. And after some early struggles with the Hangzhou Spark, when he was trying to overcome the language barrier, he just never looked back after Stage 1. It was like a completely different player and a completely different team. The man was bananas. His Reinhardt, I know we all talk about his Winston, but his Reinhardt was incredible. I thought that his Orisa also happened to be very decent during Stage 4 in the playoffs. I think that's part of the reason that the Spark were able to maintain stability and get somewhat far in the playoffs. But then there's his Winston. Guxue's Winston had such a profound impact, and I don't think people even understand it. I talked about it a little bit in my recent video, but his Winston demands so much attention. People want to hard focus him all the time, and he just played so much of that hero. Not a lot of people wanted to play Winston all that much, even during GOATs. Like, you could utilize him at some specific maps, like with a lot of high ground and all that good stuff. But most teams just wanted to just use Reinhardt because he's the staple, you know? He's what works best in GOATs. But Guxue wasn't very afraid to just break out the Winston because that's how good he is. His Primal Rage mechanics, they're second to none. He was a dominating force. He was having people solo EMP him just to slow him down, devoting all of their resources. Primal Blade, yeah, exactly. He's definitely an A tier. I'm going to say he's a little bit above Gamsu, but just below Bumper. Hello, Keon. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know if Guxue is quite S tier. I can't say he's F tier. Or S tier, not F tier. What the heck am I saying? Why does everyone want me to put him above Bumper so badly? I don't... I'm putting him below Bumper. I don't care what you people say. Bumper was amazing. Why does everyone think Bumper is bad? I don't understand it at all. Yeah, Bumper's Orisa wasn't that good, but his Reinhardt was better than Guxue's by a good margin. Bumper doesn't have a great Orisa. I can't go that far. But, like, I feel overall he was just a better player. Guxue S because I saw someone wearing his jersey. Guxue Winston better? Yeah, sure, but Winston wasn't all that important this season. Okay. I'm going to move on from this because there's clearly no convincing you guys. Okay, fine. I'll stop molding. Whatever. We're talking about Janus now. So, Janus. D+. Oh, Lord. His Reinhardt was very poor. There's no way around that. Like, his Reinhardt was awful. But it's not all his fault. You know, when you look at it, no one on that team knew what they were doing during the GOATS meta. Not a single player on the Washington Justice knew what they were doing. Nobody. Like, Corey's bubbles were awful. They were terrible. Some of the worst I've ever seen in my entire life. Otto had no idea how to properly use Repair Pack. It was just terrible. So, even though I don't think Janus was good, I think people give him way too much hate. His stats were garbage. They were. But I think his team deserves a ton of the blame as well. So I'm going to say he's C tier. Some people are going to be like, why is he not bottom? He's the worst Reinhardt ever. But I just don't think he is. His Orisa was also very good. You know, in Stage 4, when the Justice started popping off, his play was much improved. I think him and Sansam really started to come into their own, and it's a shame that they're gone now, and this is the end of their run already for the Justice. So I think Janus is like a mid-C tier. His Reinhardt really brings him down, because I thought his Winston was good, or, well, it was decent, and then his Orisa was good. So now we have Jachiran. I probably shouldn't have even included him because he played like 5 maps or something, but why not? Well, we'll put him on here anyway. You know, I think he's probably a C. Is that fair to say? That Jachiran's a C? Because I think it is. Like low C? Yeah. Jachiran's high D, low C. Yeah, he's a decent backup. I agree with that. No Tizi? Tizi is on here. He's just in a London Spitfire jersey because I couldn't find the photo of him wearing a Vancouver jersey. So yeah. Jachiran. He was kind of weird because we didn't see him play that much. Yeah, some people don't even know he existed. But he got picked up mainly for Winston. Didn't even play Winston, which was just strange. I can't even judge how good his Winston was because he had like 2 minutes played on it. But his rhyme was okay in like the 5 maps he played. So I'll say C tier. Not much to say with Jachiran. Didn't get enough play time to properly judge him. LHCloudy. Here we go. For LHCloudy, I'm going to say he's like bottom C. Like just above D range. He just barely makes the cut because I thought he really redeemed himself in Stage 4 with his Orisa. A very similar effect to Janus and Sansam, where I thought Cloudy and Finzi did a very good job overall for their team. And they weren't really a huge burden like they'd been in the past. So yeah. For Mano now. For Mano. That's an easy S tier. Like, no questions asked. Easily an S tier. Did Semler retire? I don't think so. If you become Semler, I will mass boycott you. Why would I be like Semler? All Semler does is look at the kill feed. Mano greater than Bumper. Papega. Just be the dedicated leaker. ATP with tats. Oh, Lord. I'm getting way off subject now. So, Mano. S tier easily, in my opinion. One of the most consistent tank players we've had in the history of the Overwatch League. He continued that over from the inaugural season into Season 2. His Reinhardt was very consistent. I thought that he was like the centerpiece for the NYXL. Last year was all about Jonek, but this year I feel like the team really depended on Mano greatly to just stay alive and keep the team from panicking. I feel like whenever teams pressured him, that's when things got bad. But overall, yeah, I think Mano had a great impact on the NYXL success. His Reinhardt was very good. His Winston was very good. I don't remember him playing much Wrecking Ball. But the one thing where you can maybe make the argument that he's like only low S is his Orisa. I know some people think it's good, but I personally have never been a fan of it. I think his superchargers are very poor. I think he needs to do a better job of learning how to like place them around corners and stuff and just protecting them overall a little bit better. I think that's one of his huge weaknesses on Orisa. But other than that, I thought he was very good. Marvel. You guys are really trying to get ahead of me, huh? Everyone's talking about Marvel already. Marvel. Very underrated. Very, very underrated. So, the reason I say Marvel is underrated is because of the statistics and like how the fact that the Seoul Dynasty suffered like little to no drop off even after Fissure left. High B. See, I think Marvel is like low A. You can call me crazy if you want, but I thought he was that good. I honestly, no, like seriously, Wool, I know you joke around and say definitely A, no bias, but I thought he was really good. Marvel was really, really good this year. Like, low key. The lowest of keys. He was great. And statistically, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to the stats. They don't think they matter. But statistically, he's off the charts. I was actually, for my video that I just recently made, they should definitely check out if you haven't watched it already. I was looking at Winston stats because I thought, oh, there's no way anyone could be near Guxue. But it turns out that Marvel has even better stats on Winston than Guxue. Just think about that for a second. Statistically, Marvel is better than Guxue on Winston. Legit low A, yeah. Like, I can pull it up if you don't believe me. Seriously. What's up, Proven Frog? Good to see you. Marvel clapped on Chinese contenders. He did clap. Oh, you guys think I'm lying? I can show you. I can show you the proof. Guxue is a higher win percentage. Everyone's spamming lies. All right. I'm going to have to break it out and show you then. I'm going to have to show you. (2019) Winston stats. Everyone join the Discord. Yeah, join the Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, you should definitely do that. You can find the link to it in any of my videos down in the description. But yeah, look at this. Marvel has better Winston stats than Guxue. It's unbelievable. He's actually, statistically, a better Winston. I still think Guxue is better overall because of the impact. Photoshopped. Yep, totally. Look at how bad, look at how much he outdamages Guxue. He outdamages him by 100 a minute, gets more final blows, gets more ultimates, he dies less. That's absurd. So, definitely a very underrated player. So, I'm gonna say he's low A. Definitely. Rio J. Hong's main tank from Season 1 is S tier. Yeah, I do have to admit that. It's true. Jae-Hong is easily the greatest tank ever other than Taimu. It's like a two-way tie. It's like Kukia main support, you know? They're staples. Best players ever. For Muma. Muma, I think, along with the rest of the Outlaws, he was pretty up and down. Surprisingly, his Orisa wasn't all that impressive, which is one of the reasons I can't really put him higher than B. Like, I remember his Orisa being fairly good in Season 1, but I just didn't see the same type of impact. I think maybe part of it is, you know, he had some very questionable off-tanks on his side. I think Muma got a lot of crap, but I think he's like a low B. I love how you're actually interacting with your chat. This is fun. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you're having fun. Other streamers don't. Like, I figured it could be fun. Like, I can get a live reaction from you guys and get some opinions, too, because maybe, again, some of you can sway me with something. Healthy debate's fun. Outlaws need a new main tank. I'm not sure if Muma is the guy for the Outlaws. Someone kill Cool Mad Effect. Yeah, but in all seriousness, I thought Muma was pretty decent. One of the better players on the Outlaws, probably, in Season 2. Other than, like, Dante, you know. I thought he was up there as one of the stronger players. Final thoughts. Muma, low B. Kind of a meh Orisa. Decent Reinhardt. Decent Winston. I just don't think that the Outlaws were very good in GOATs, and I think that's part of the reason he wasn't as good as he could have been. So, NoSmite. For any of you who saw my original main tank video on YouTube, you know that he's a meme. I usually placed like everybody above him that existed, basically, for some reason. But in all seriousness, he was alright. Wasn't anything special, but I think C tier is pretty fair for NoSmite. He was average. Very, very average. He's not that bad. Yeah, he's not that bad, but on the Spark overall, he really didn't do much. I think the one game I can remember him having an extreme impact on is that first game of the season against the Valiant. I thought he had some massive shatters and he completely outplayed Fate. But after that matchup, I don't remember him doing anything significant. I know Guxue was also getting playtime, but during those first few weeks, they were kind of splitting the reps. And he never really impressed me all that much. Hopefully on Paris it's a little different, but that's just how I feel. Good Ryan, very weak Winston. So now we have OGE. OGE, I was very high on him. Like, halfway through the season, I thought he was probably like a top 5, not off tank, main tank in the league. But after time kind of progressed, he's more of like a low A, maybe high B. OGE is so overrated. You know, I'm gonna put him high B actually, not low A. I like high B for OGE. I think that's pretty accurate. OGE needs a better team. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out if OGE is overrated or not when he plays for the Gladiators this season. I thought OGE was pretty good. Honestly. Like, especially to start the season. And in Season 1, he was good too, you know? I don't think OGE's, like, as good as some people say. I do think he's a tad overrated. But he's still a good player. 7 different days and 500 minutes streamed. Yeah, we can definitely do that. I want to stream a bunch this month. And next month. OGE is meh, fine. Yeah, I think OGE in space could make for a really scary tank line. It has the potential. I think it really depends on OGE. We know that space is extremely consistent, but that's part of the reason I can't put OGE like above high B or like low A at best because of inconsistency issues. I think that's one of the reasons that he really started to suffer. His Orisa wasn't anything impressive either. I thought his Ryan was good, his Winston was good, but the inconsistency keeps me from putting him higher than high B. Why Sado on Super Season 1 photos? Why does it matter? Does it really matter all that much? You know who they are. Anyway, though. We have Pokpo now, and I see a lot of people are saying A tier for Poco. Like, I don't know. Pokpo was pretty underrated. He was very, very good. I thought at the beginning of the season, He struggled. Gamsu has his Season 1 Boston face. Yeah, I had to do some photoshopping for that one. I'm not going to lie. I could not, for the life of me, find Gamsu's Season 2 picture anywhere on the internet for some reason, so I had to do a little bit of photoshopping. But Pokpo, Pokpo, however you want to say his name. He was very weird for me because I didn't notice him all that much when Goats was around, or at least for the first couple of stages. Kind of just average. But then in Stage 4 and in the playoffs, he really stepped it up. I mean, he stepped it up big time. His Orisa was one of the best in the league. I think he's tied for the best Orisa in the league personally, so I think that low A is pretty fair for Pokpo. I think he's like slightly above OGE, just makes the cut for A tier. You could maybe argue he's better than Marvel. They're pretty interchangeable. But yeah, Pokpo's definitely in the A tier range. Pokpo is very passive, as Ryan, I agree. Rio is like a low B. I'm going to put him like here. I think, or maybe above Fact. I thought he had a better Orisa than Fact. I'll put Rio there. He's like a mid B. Mid to low B. I used to not think too highly of Rio. But the more I look back and I watch the film, I realized that Rio's actually a fairly consistent player. He doesn't always make a lot of huge plays like some of the guys that are above him. But he never really makes a lot of mistakes. And I think that's part of the reason that he was so dependable on the Guangzhou Charge this year. Can you make me feel a little better by putting Cloudy above the Chengdu person who never played? Thanks. You know what? Just for you, buddy, sure. I'll put him above Jachiron, who's completely irrelevant, so it's basically like Cloudy is still at the bottom anyway, but you're welcome. Fact Fiction did choke in the clutch. I agree with that. Rio wasn't amazingly clutch, but he did make plays sometimes. I remember he had some nice shatters here and there. There's one against the Hunters. I think it was on Eichenwald. It was just massive. He's kind of more on the passive side, but hey, if your main tank's not dying, then he's not dying, you know? If you're keeping your main tank up, then your odds of success go up. And I think that's part of the reason the Charge were able to sneak into the play-in tournament in the end. They had a really good run at the end of the season. Also, I saw someone mention his Wrecking Ball. Rio's Wrecking Ball is fantastic. I think it goes without saying that it's one of the better ones in the league. Roar's the biggest disappointment in the season. I actually kind of agree with you. I thought that Roar was kind of pathetic. ATP will expose your secret. Jane hasn't invented esports, and this is all fake like the stats. Roar is A. Oh my god, no. Roar is not an A-tier player. I'm sorry, but he is not. Roar was a very big disappointment in my eyes. Roar was good in contenders, but he did fall down. I feel the same way. Roar S. Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm just going to put him where I think he is. He's like around Fate's level. I think I'll put him right here. He's like a low B. I really didn't think Roar was all that good this year. I was expecting big things from him because a lot of people hyped him up on Kongdu Panthera and contenders. Roar wasn't... But then, Roar wasn't that bad, but he's not amazing. He was good in contenders, but then he comes into the league and he struggles. And his death rate is pretty evident of that. He fed. I'm sorry to say it, but Roar was kind of feeding this year. Especially in Stage 1, there was a lot of growing pains with him. There was a lot of them. I thought that he had a really good Winston, but he struggled a lot more on Reinhardt, I'd say, more than anything else. He was very aggressive. There was a lot of miscommunication issues. And sadly, they never really got all that better. Like in Stage 2, for example, we saw there was some improvement, but then I feel like he started to go more in a downward trend again as we head into Stage 3 and Stage 4. And in the playoffs, he was okay. I thought he had some good pull combos with Hydration on that Doomfist. I gotta go ATP post final tier list images in Discord so we can all see. Have a good stream. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll be sure to post the pictures in the Discord if anyone can't stay for the entire stream. But yeah, Roar was a disappointment. Can't say it was any better than a mid to low B. It's Sado time, boys. It's Sado time. I know a lot of people hate on Sado. They say he is awful. And his Reinhardt was awful. There's no doubting that. He was terrible. But I don't think Sado is quite as bad as people think. And the reason I say that is because I think he more than makes up for his weaknesses on Reinhardt with his Winston. I thought his Winston, kind of like last year, was solid. Like, obviously, it didn't result in a lot of wins for the Fusion when he did play Winston in the Winston Goats thing, but it was definitely better than his Reinhardt, and they found more success. Low B. He's an okay tank. Yeah, Sado ain't that bad. Sado above Fact Fiction, that is something I cannot agree with. I'm going to say Sado's like a low B. Sado's a low B. His Orisa was... No. I'm putting him I'm putting him high C. Never mind. Or should I put him above Fusions? They're like at the same level. Sado isn't as bad as people say, though. People freaking out. Beast is low B. The lowest? Who are you talking about? If you're talking about Beast Halo, he's not on here. Now it's time for our boy Sharik. I hear people say his name differently all the time, but he was bad. Sharik was bad. Oh my god, I thought he was one of the worst main tanks in the league. He was so unimpressive. I was really hoping that he might be able to do some decent things because Yakpung was struggling during Stage 2, but he did nothing. He fed on Orisa. How do you feed on Orisa? I can't even with Sharik. He is not good. He's a D tier. He was terrible. Oh, Lord. Yakpung was so much better. Yakpung's English wasn't even that amazing, but he was still better than Sharik. Oh, Lord. I apologize, but he was bad. So, moving on to someone that's better now, we'll talk about Smurf. Why was Yakpung kicked? He wasn't kicked. Or wait, no, you're talking about during the offseason when he got kicked. My apologies. I have no idea. They just don't want him anymore, I guess. For Smurf, though. Smurf, he played a little bit in Stage 1. His Reinhardt was pretty alright. His Winston was pretty good. Then he didn't play for a really, really long time. He comes back in Stage 4. Or no, it was the Stage 3 finals, I want to say, when he started playing again first. We saw him come in for a map, I don't know, Oasis, I think it was. Yeah, he played Orisa, looked pretty good. And then that kind of just continued onward. And he was easily one of the best Orisa players in the league from that point forward. He had a good impact for the Shock, so I'm going to say he's like a low A. Smurf was very solid. Incredibly good player. We didn't get to see him a lot mid-season, but anytime he did come in, very impressive. And speaking of Shock main tanks, we have our boy Super now. The man, the Reinhardt God. Let's hear what I put Beast Halo. I don't know. Haven't seen him play on stage yet. Hard to say. Super, though. Super was extremely, extremely good. He's not flexible enough for S. That's where I'm going to disagree with you. I thought Super was incredible. I think you guys are probably going to kill me for this, but I think he's better than Mano. I think that he is better than Mano. Straight up. He had the better year. Super was so, so good, and people do not give him enough credit. And I know we look at the flexibility thing, but he is not as unflexible as people say he is. His Winston, I think, needs work. I'll agree there. I don't think his Winston was anything special, and it could definitely improve. But his Reinhardt was the best in the Overwatch League. Literally the best in the Overwatch League. In a meta where Reinhardt was played in 3 out of the 4 stages, like primarily. How could I not say he's S tier? Rein was played for 3/4 of the year, and he was the best on it. Like, early on in the season, maybe not, but I think from the Stage 1 finals and onward, he was easily the best Reinhardt in the Overwatch League. And his Orisa is underrated. I think one of the issues is that Smurf was just so much better. Like, again, I don't want to rely too heavily on stats, but I was looking at Orisa stats for my video the other day, and Super's Orisa stats are so much better than I thought they were. Like, you know, let me show you. Let me show you while I have the website up. Where's Orisa on here? Let's see. Orisa. I think it's this one? No. Where is she? There's Orisa. Look who's number 1, boys. Look who's number 1 overall rank on Orisa. There you go. Not the Photoshop again. Yeah. Whatever you say, pal. The death rate's not too good. I think that's part of the reason Smurf started over him. But look at his damage. He does the most damage in the league on Orisa. The most damage in the league. Look at that. Look at the final blows, too. It's like so much better than everybody else, other than like Sado. That's wild. If your Orisa's doing that much damage, oof. Need to take into account minutes played too. But it's not like he has that many more minutes, like less than Smurf. I don't think there's a huge difference. Like, I think that if he continued to play, his stats really wouldn't have suffered that much. Just my personal opinion. But, like, I think he proved that in the World Cup too. He has a reliable Orisa. I just think that Smurf was a lot better. It's not his fault. It's like with NoSmite, with Guxue, you know? It's not his fault he had to compete with one of the best main tanks in the world. Like, same with Super. It's not his fault he had to compete with one of the best Orisa players in the world. But yeah, very underrated on Orisa. So I think Super's S tier for those reasons. Why is Sado second to him? That's a weird bug. It puts Sado below Super. It's because I changed the order of the stats. I changed the category. Like if I put it so final blows, that it takes into account the order of final blows. That's why I did that. Anyway, though, now it's time for everybody's favorite main tank in the Overwatch League. What'd you say, Will, in terms of context? I disagree. He's certainly S tier, but not above Mano. Yeah, it's a matter of opinion, but I thought Super was just better. So, now we have Swon, the greatest main tank to ever touch the game. Swon. Easily the greatest player in the history of the Overwatch League. The legend. The partner in crime alongside our Lord and Savior, Zephyr. Yeah, like, that's a fat S tier. Like, not even close. Swon's the greatest player ever. Was Swon even good in contenders? He actually was. I was looking at the teams he played on. He's played for a lot of well-known teams. I think Swon was actually kind of well-respected coming out of contenders, believe it or not. S-rank Flying Rhine. Yeah, he pinned a Pharah. This man pinned a Pharah. Swon's a god. Imagine having Zephyr Swon as a tank line. Yeah, what a lucky team the Florida Mayhem were. Lucky, lucky boys. Such a great tank line. In all seriousness, though, Swon was awful. Swon was terrible. Like, oh lord. Swon was bad. His Reinhardt wasn't good, but he was an okay Orisa, actually. Like, he played Orisa like once or twice in Stage 4, and it was okay. But I don't think playing a couple of maps is good enough to, like, put you higher. Just because you played well in a couple of maps in Stage 4. So, yeah. His Reinhardt was one of the worst in the league. I don't even remember him playing Winston or anything, but just overall, he had no impact. Obviously, Florida wasn't a good team in general. It's not all his fault. But he certainly could have done better, too. Check the stats. Above BenBest. BenBest was really bad. I'm sorry. Maybe I'll put BenBest a little higher. How about I put him above Shark? Would that make my Paris fans feel better? So Tizi now. Yeah. I couldn't find a Vancouver picture of Tizi, and I really didn't feel like going through Photoshop and photoshopping a Vancouver jersey onto him. So this is going to have to do. As a Toronto fan, I'm pissed. I mean, we still have to do Yakpung. You might be surprised where I put him. Who knows? So for Tizi, he only played in the playoffs, so it's hard to grasp just how good he was. But in the playoff games he was part of, I liked what I saw. I thought he was like a top 5 Orisa player. Can you do flex tier DPS? I'm actually only going to do tanks today, Kevin. I'm going to do off tanks after this. So, Tizi, only saw him play Orisa, so it's hard to judge his hero pool as a whole. But if we're going strictly off of how he played in the playoffs, he's like a high B. Is that fair to say? He's like somewhere around here. What do you think, chat? Or is he higher? Lower? What do you guys think? It's really hard to judge with somebody like Tizi since he only played for such a small amount of time. He's like low A. A. This is like one of the ones where I actually want to hear your opinion. He's right behind Smurf. Do a coach tier list? That's kind of hard. Sure. You know what? We'll put him low A. Screw it. He was a solid Orisa. A minus, high B, mid B. Worse than Smurf. Prob's better than OG. Yeah. We'll put Tizi there. Didn't get to see a lot of him, unfortunately. So I can't judge entirely how he'd stack up with the rest of the people. But if you judge it based off of his Orisa alone, he's like low A probably. Oh no, now we have to do Trill. Our boy Trill. Oh, poor Trill. Just having to play because OGE was burnt out and Dallas was struggling. He came into a really bad situation. So, can't really say that we're going to be ranking him very high. He's like a low C. Trill. Yes, Trill played. I know, right? Crazy. Trill actually played. People forget because Dallas was so, forgettable after stage 2. They just became a meme. They won one game. They went 1-13 in stage 3 and 4 combined. For some reason, I want Trill to be good. I think Trill maybe could be good in the future. He was just put in a very bad situation. Low B or C. Yeah. I mean, his Orisa was maybe a little better than OGE's, but I didn't like his Rhine very much. Very unimpressive. Being coached by Jane. Well, at that point, I don't even know if he was coaching. If I remember correctly, there was rumors that Jane kind of stopped coaching after stage 2. He started having a mental breakdown. Or was it after stage 3? I don't remember. But after a certain amount of time, Jane just stopped. But I do remember that Jane was the tank coach for a while too, even though that's not his role. Because they had a hole at that position. It was a big yikes. And Jane, I don't know how Jane managed to do that. The poor guy was probably so stressed. Jane was busy building esports at that time. Yeah, kind of unfortunate with Jane. Oh well, though. So for Yakpung now, I'm going to say he's high C. Maybe slightly above NoSmite. Why the heck is his picture white? Whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Yakpung is Middle of the pack. C tier. Mid B. Low B. I didn't think Yakpung was that good. I'm sorry to any of the Toronto fans. You're going to spam? Well, I'm not going to get your wish, pal. Sorry. I don't think he was that good. I thought he had highlights. Like, Stage 1, he was really good. Like, he had a roller coaster of a season. Stage 1, he was good. Stage 2, goes on a massive decline. Stage 3, he starts to get benched. Comes back in Stage 4. Does okay, but is nothing amazing. Still ends up splitting playtime. I just don't think I can put him very high. I can't do it. Hashtag. Why is everyone making fun of Bishop so much? He was gone pretty early in the season. And he only picked one main tank. It was only Yakpung. He was the only one that was around while Bishop was coaching. You have made me sad now. I am sorry about that. But that is my opinion. So here is what the tier list is looking like. Finalized, really. Here you go. Put him above Janus at least. Sure, I'll put him above Janus because that really makes that much of a difference. Making people sad, so toxic. Yes, I know, of course. I was trying to make a clan/org called Swon till I realized it was also the name of a mediocre Florida player. Mega oof. Oh, yikes. That's a big yikes. So just to recap. For our Ds, we have Sharik, BenBest, and Swon. I think that's pretty fair. They're probably like the worst of the worst. Then for C, you have Trill, Jachirun, LHCloudy, NoSmite, Janus, Yakpung, Sado, and Fusions. B tier, Muma, Fate, Roar, Fact Fiction, Rio, Gesture, Ameng, Fissure, and OGE. A tier is Tizi, Smurf, Pokpo, Marvel, Gamsu, Guxue, and Bumper. Then S tier is Mano and Super. And I don't think I forgot any players. I'm pretty sure I got like all of the major main tanks. Maybe I forgot like one or two people that played like a map or something like that, but they aren't very important.